So, you're thinking about a renovation, or maybe even a new build. Awesome. But before you get to the exciting stuff, before a single nail is hammered, you're going to face something called the design agreement. Honestly, it's the most important document you'll sign, but it can be filled with all this confusing language. So today, we're going to decode it together, so you can sign on that dotted line with total confidence.
It almost always starts with this exact problem. You've got this great vision for your space, right? But you don't have any accurate plans of how it is right now. And without a professional blueprint of the existing building, your project is basically dead in the water before it even starts.
So, where do you begin? What's the first step? Well, you've got to find a specialist, someone who can take your physical space and turn it into a precise set of plans.
And that's where a firm like Conceptarchitecturaldesigns comes into the picture. We're actually going to use their agreement as our guide for this whole explainer. Their specialty is creating what are called measured drawings. It's pretty straightforward. They come to your property, they measure every single detail, and they create what are known as as-built plans. It's the exact blueprint of your space as it is today.
Okay, so you've hired the firm. The next thing you'll get is the design agreement. You should really think of this as the official rule book for your project. It's the formal handshake that lays out every single detail of how you're going to work together.
Now, right near the top of that agreement, you're going to find a really critical disclaimer. It makes it crystal clear that while the firm does design work, they are not licensed architects or engineers. What does that mean? It means they can't give you stamped drawings. Those are the official, state-approved plans you often need for permits. This is a huge distinction to understand right from the get-go.
And this is why that agreement is so important. It enables all of this. From the basic 2D floor plans to really detailed 3D models of a commercial space, that contract is the foundation for all this amazing creative and technical work.
All right, let's dive into the part everybody wants to know about, the money. This next section breaks down all the fees, the rates, and yeah, even the penalties that are part of the financial side of your project.
First up is the retainer. This is a non-refundable deposit you have to pay to get the project started, and it's not just a down payment, okay? It's what secures your spot in their schedule and covers their initial costs. Basically, it's your formal commitment to get this thing rolling.
So what happens if you change your mind about something mid-project? Hey, it happens all the time. The agreement spells out an hourly rate for any work that's outside of what you originally agreed on. In this case, it's $54 an hour. Just think of it as the cost for any of those change orders you might make along the way.
And, like any professional service, they expect to be paid on time. Section 2.3 lays out a 1.5% monthly finance charge on any overdue invoices. It's a pretty standard clause, but it's definitely one you want to be aware of so you can avoid any extra costs.
Now, this is just as important as what you are paying for. It's what you're not paying for. The agreement is very clear that things like fancy 3D models, those stamped engineering drawings we talked about, or managing the construction, that's all outside the standard scope. Those would all be separate agreements with separate fees.
You know, life happens, and sometimes projects just have to stop. But listen up, because when you decide to stop makes a massive financial difference. The contract draws a very clear line in the sand here.
So, the contract makes this really crucial distinction. If you cancel before any work has actually started, you just lose your retainer. Simple as that. But if you terminate the project after they've already started working, well, the financial hit is way, way bigger. You'll have to pay for all the work they've done, plus other fees. And here it is, the biggest consequence of terminating, something called the kill fee. Section 4.2 is clear. If you end the project for your own convenience, you have to pay a fee that's 25% of the total project costs. This is to compensate the firm for the time they blocked off for you and for potentially losing out on other projects.
Okay, we've made it to the final and maybe the most misunderstood section of any design agreement: who actually owns the drawings?
So let me ask you this. You've paid all your bills, the project is finally done, and you're holding the final plans. Do you own them? The answer might really surprise you.
The answer is almost always a big fat no. You don't actually own the plans. Instead, what the contract gives you is a limited license. This means the design firm keeps the copyright, but they give you permission to use the plans for this one specific project. And that's it.
So, what does that really mean in the real world? It means you can't use these plans to build the same house on a different piece of land. You can't change them yourself or have someone else change them. And you won't get the original editable CAD files, just the final PDFs. This is all about protecting the designer's intellectual property and making sure they control their own work.
Okay, so before you sign anything, let's run through a quick pre-flight checklist. Number 1, confirm the scope. Know exactly what's included and what's not. 2, review all the fees, the retainer, hourly rates, any late charges. 3, understand termination. Know what it'll cost you to stop the project. And 4, clarify ownership. Remember, you're getting a license, not the copyright. A simple check like this can make sure your project gets off to a perfect start.
Look, a design agreement isn't meant to be some scary, intimidating thing. It's there to create clarity and protect both you and the designer. By understanding these key parts, you can move forward not with uncertainty, but with the confidence that comes from knowing exactly what you're getting into.